Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
Always a delight to have you join us to talk sports in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. So much going on in our world of sports. Yemi was still counting down to the Africa Cup of Nations that will take place in Côte d'Ivoire. In England, it's all about the third round of the FA Cup. Clubs are busy, and as you know, I call it the Upset Cup.
Yeah, and of course, we'll talk about the AFCON, just like you said, the prize money, getting us talking, the issues of ability or inability to see the live games is what is generating a lot of talk on the streets. We'll talk about that if we can. Then, of course, we talk about Aruna Quadri. It will get us talking as well. Rafael Nadal is back. Should I say he's better, doing well. We'll also talk about the exploits of Rafael Nadal at Brisbane. All right, so that's the outlook of the show tonight. Let's quickly bring in our guest in the Lagos studio. We'll be having a robust discussion around all of these things we've highlighted. Okwemi Akiode joins us now. Okwemi, Happy New Year, I must say that. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It feels good to be here again. Austin, Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much. It's a good time. Good time to talk sports here, me. And we're counting down to AFCON. 10 days, 9 days, 11 days, 1 year. Most important thing is that the AFCON is upon us. Whether there's so much buzz for it, whether the national teams are ready, whether the Super Eagles are ready, the issue of the broadcast. The most important thing is that Africa's biggest soccer fiesta will be back. Another opportunity to sell what we have to the entire world, and let's see how far we can go with this one.
All right, so you guys took the words right out of my mouth. Let's just give you that official countdown. We've started. It's 9 days to go. I'll just go across, let you see what it is. 9 days to go. I'm very sure you're going to see it right up on the screen. Okwemi alluded to it, talking about the number of days. And everybody's feeling it right now. Everybody's feeling it. We can, of course, say that we are feeling the vibes. 9 days to go for our viewers. We'll do the counting for you, just for you to know that, of course, just like Okwemi said, Africa's biggest football event happens every 2 years. It's upon us. It's 9 days to go. A little over a week. Whether or not the teams are ready, whether or not the things you are hearing you do not like, it doesn't change the fact that it's just 9 days to go. And of course, we're ready for it. Let me just yield the floor to Austin quickly. 9 days to go. No question now, everybody's feeling it. But then, how excited are you about the fact that whoever wins this tournament is going to get an increased prize money? We're hearing $7 million.
I mean, it goes even beyond the prize money. I like the fact that African football is taking center stage. The Western media have no choice now. They're talking about it because they're beginning to lose some of their key players in different European leagues. So this is an opportunity for us to showcase our talents to the world, to let the world know that Africa can put together a world-class tournament. This is our biggest football, event. It's a religion in Africa. I liked what I saw in Cameroon. I want to even feel this one much better. And that's why I want Côte d'Ivoire to, try as much as possible to take away the bad press and do the things that will get people really to say the nice things about Africa. I like what I see with stadium preparation, though coming late. But let's just, have the right atmosphere for good football to be played. Big ups to the Confederation of African Football. Prize money increased, also a good one. Football FAs will have, good reasons to make use of that prize money. I just hope that there will be some transparency and accountability in there. But now it's beginning to get the clout that it deserves. It's the Africa Cup of Nations. It's got a long-standing tradition. It has produced legends, and footballers in Africa look forward to this competition. Now, what we need to do is get the world to come into it also and start talking about it. CAF needs to start looking for side events. Just to see, when we're doing a countdown to the World Cup, there are a lot of things we see. They're going to, for instance, launch the match ball, they're going to, you know, find different events that will get people talking. I think CAF needs to do more. Yeah, I know they did the trophy tour around, you know, the different participating countries. Let's do more that will get people to talk about the event before the main action commences, Yemi.
All right, I agree with you totally. All right, I mean, just behind me, let me take you through it. I talk about the prize money, and it's mouth-watering, it must be said. And what you have on the screen, prize money for this year's event, CAF has done a lot around this to ensure that whoever takes home the trophy gets more than its usual. For the winner, it's going to be $7 million. For the runner-ups, $4 million. If you're able to get to the semi-final, $2.5 million. If you're able to get into the last 8, is $1.3 million and $300,000. An increase, I think 40% increase. So, okay, let me come to you. React to this prize money. If money does not motivate you, I don't know what else can motivate you.
I'm really excited with the fact that, I mean, this is a little departure from all of the bad press that have surrounded this upcoming AFCON in terms of publicity, in terms of feeling the buzz, in terms of, you know, just having an idea that Africa's biggest football spectacle is coming up. By this time, we'll have seen all of the energy, the street is buzzing, everyone thinks, oh, there's going to be AFCON. I mean, the continent will witness their European superstars come home to do their thing, to represent their national team. But beyond the issue of even the broadcasts, there's been, you know, issue of administrative preparation also from the side of the organizers, the national teams. So this prize money is a huge departure from all of the bad energy that seems to be around the buzz around the AFCON. $7 million, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. I told someone this afternoon, I said, if this money comes to Nigeria, I hope the right people at the right place will be able to account for. But that's just on a lighter mode. It shows that African football is taking its own dimension. It shows that we can, in our own space, hold our own down, not just make it look like, oh, it's AFCON after all. How much am I going to get? At the end of the day, $7 million is a lot of money. And I have a feeling, see, it's as simple as this. Put the right people at the right places with the right business mindset. You can't take all of these away from the CAF president. He's a businessman, one of the richest men in Africa, if you know. So he's bringing in the business energy. The sponsors are responding to what he's putting on the table. The money will keep going up. CAF competitions also would have increase in their prize monies. Age-grade competition would also have increase in their prize money. So it's just putting the right person at the right place. These things are not rocket science, Yemi. They're not casting stones. Put the right people, give them the right mandate, and this is exactly what Africa gets to see.
Yeah, this is what Africa gets to see. And hopefully, in terms of stability in the countries, it would also help us because, look, you can't play football when the structures are not in place, when some of the things are not right. All right, let's talk about the Super Eagles, our own. The players are in camp. 1 or 2 players still being expected. So let's give you the update from the camp of the Super Eagles. We're going to quickly reel out the players that are in camp, so we can talk about the players. I'm very sure it's going to come up, and we're going to talk about it. And I mean, while we're waiting for that, let me just quickly, okay, let me run through it, then I'll yield the floor to all state Super Eagles, the players in camp as we prepare. 9 days to go. We started with the defenders. Olaoluwa Aina is in camp. Chidozie Awazie, Bright, Osai Samuel, Bruno Oyebiechi, Kenneth Omeru, Oluwashemilogo Ajayi, Calvin Bassi, and Seydou Sanusi. For the midfield, a bit lean. We've talked about that, so we can't begin to flog a dead horse. So, 5 players: Alassane Yusuf coming in for Wilfred Ndidi, Rafael Onyedika, Joe Ayodele Aribo, Frank Oyenka, and Alex Iwobi. All right, those are the midfielders. Let's take a look at the forwards: Ahmed Musa, Victor Osimhen, Sadiq Umar, Moses Simon, Ademola Lookman, Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Boniface. These are the forwards. And, of course, we should have started with the goalkeepers. So let's talk about the goalkeeper. Stanley Nwabili, Chippa United. That's where he applies his trade. Francis Uzor received a lot of stick, but keeps his place in the squad. He has received a lot of criticism, but still good to be in the national team. Olalekan Ojo also made the cut. So these are the players in camp. I think we're still expecting Kelechi Iheanacho and Troost Ekong. And so Austin, the boys are there. Expected to spend about a week in Abu Dhabi, come to Lagos, then the departure. Everything looks well planned.
Yeah, it looks well planned, but I was speaking to some former officials of the NFF, and I'm wondering, why did they have to go to Abu Dhabi for 1 week, Maybe the NFF will understand. I mean, it's happening in Cote d'Ivoire. We could have just even, saved some money, saved some stress, and just stay close by, and then when we're ready to go to Cote d'Ivoire, we'll hit the road. So good one that we've got a good amount of players in camp. Alassane has replaced Wilfred Ndidi. That's kind of a heartbreaking story for Nigeria. Wilfred Ndidi would have done a lot of good to our midfield. He's in good form with Leicester City. But what has happened, and let's see what these players that are in camp will be able to do when the AFCON, kicks off in Cote d'Ivoire. I've said it time and time again that they are professionals, and Coach Jose Pizarro understands the mission. I just hope that he's able to explain it properly to the players. Now they know $7 million up for grabs. That's about 6.3 billion naira if the Super Eagles get to win the competition. 6.3 billion naira would do a lot of good to football administration and management in Nigeria. That's no money to some of them. You get to look at what they earn in Europe, but it would just be good if your country's FA have that money in their accounts to do one or two good things for football development in the country. So let's see the Super Eagles. They've launched that campaign. Let's do it again. Can they do it again? I spoke to Colin Oda the other day on the show. Colin doesn't think about that with the squad that has been released. Look, these things happen. When it happened in 2013, and that's why we're here as pundits. Let's remind people, because some of us also had a doubt in 2013. Oh, Stephen Keshi is going with 7 best players, 19 debutants in that coach Stephen Keshi's team in 2013. And they did the unthinkable. They stunned everyone. They went on to win. But in Cameroon, 2 years ago, we had a squad that we thought, yes, we've arrived. Right after we got out of the group, so we beat Tunisia in the round of 16. Then we can't just, go all the way. And then round of 16, we were stunned. That's football. So I think a lot of mental work needs to go into the Super Eagles team. Let them understand that, look, we didn't force you to say, let's do it again. You guys say it's time. That has been a long, long time since you won the AFCON, and for a name as the Super Eagles of Nigeria, a respected football brand in Africa. When Africa is having a competition, we should be able to do one or two things. I've looked at the list again. Defenders have been playing with themselves for some time. Midfielders have been playing with themselves for some time. Yes, last time I come into the team, I need to watch. Maybe now offensively, we need to invest a lot more on Alex Iwobi and Joe Aribo. And then Franco Yeka needs to step up. That's one player I think can still give so much more to the Super Eagles. We had a conversation also, and we're saying, Yemi, where is Ogenekaro Tebo? Tebo is a fantastic player that by now we should be saying he should be in his prime and be doing fantastic things for the Super Eagles midfield. But he has not been in the conversation for about 2 years now. But let's not take ourselves back with that. And when you come to the forward, I don't need to say much. I mean, Taiwo already got injured, and we're not bothered because we've got surplus. That attack can destroy any defense in Africa. It is the cohesion, the coordination, the understanding, the tactical depth from the coaches into the team that will make the game flow right from the goalkeeping department to the defense to the midfield and land on Victor Osimhen and Victor Boniface or Samuel Chukwueze or Kelechi Iheanacho or whoever is in that front line to just eat the food. That's what it is. So we're hoping that Jose Pizarro and his technical crew, they know these things that they have to do. Go back, watch your videos, see your mistakes. If you want to have those psychological talks, do those talks and go out there and make Nigerians proud and happy again through football.
Yeah, Austin has said everything, but quick one. My worry is a lot of the people, when you say something, a lot of people say, "Oh, are you saying they can't win?" That's not the issue. You can win without even playing well. I mean, there's a big difference between the '94 squad and the 2013 squad. I mean, the 2013 squad, even the most optimistic Nigerian fan didn't expect anything, and the group stage performance wasn't even anything to write home about. We two draws, one win, you know, and we won that Nations Cup without actually solving the problems that were with us. But we won. We celebrated it. Do you think, with the short space of time, do you think Jose Pizarro, with what you have seen, will be able to plug the holes, solve those problems? Will you be pleased if we get to solve those problems without winning the AFCON, or it doesn't matter, we don't solve the problems, we leave it and win the AFCON? Which would you prefer?
I want to win the AFCON. Whether by stroke of luck or by commitment.
But won't you want to win it solving the problems along the way?
It makes a lot of sense, but then you gave me two options: to win and leave the problems unsolved, or to solve the problems and leave and not win. I want to win. I mean, if you understand how football drives Nigerians really crazy, then you understand that when we win, we forget all of the problems we have. Yes, it's a different conversation, but it makes a lot of sense when we have something to hold on to. Okay, let us use this one to console with the fact that we have issues that we're dealing with. In football, in sport general, even in life on its own, you have your preparations. Then when the expectations comes in, it makes it look really beautiful. It makes the success really interesting. I don't know how prepared the Super Eagles are going into this Nations Cup, and this is what I mean. In terms of talent, individual talent, our boys are doing exceptionally well. Alex Iwobi is playing probably the best football of his life with Fulham. Victor Boniface is getting the job done at Bayer Leverkusen. He's won Rookie of the Month, 5 straight months now. I mean, Victor Osimhen, current king of African football, really good, even though his last match for Napoli ended in a red card when they lost that game. You look at that balance, you look at that consistency. We're really going to miss Winfred Indeed, you know that about that. But Al-Hazard comes into the system. I don't know if Pacero is going to start him because it was never in his plan in the first place. But the most important thing is that African teams are traditional teams that grows into tournament. I don't know, maybe we're going to have that luck. Remember in 2013, we played Burkina Faso that we ended up playing again in the finals. We actually got out of our group with just 5 points. The last time out in Cameroon 2 years ago, we got out of our group with all level of confidence, but we got stuck in the next round. So I want us to win. It's going to be really decisive. If we get to win, we can come back and say, you know what, Mr. Manager, Mr. Coach, whether we owe you or not, whether we can pay you or not, step aside. Let us restructure what we have on ground here. We have a trophy now. We celebrate you. Add that to your CV. Move away. Let's sit back and ask, do we still have players? Players will naturally walk away. They will naturally retire from the national team if we win this one. So I want us to win, so that whatever correction we want to do, we can put it on the premise of the fact that we won the trophy, but we know we're not done, we're not sorted. Let's come back home and fix some of our problems.
All right. All right. So I guess we'll leave it at that. Of course, the conversation will always go back and forth around the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Before we go on the break, let's quickly, team in focus. We're looking at Group D. Let's talk about Algeria and look at the profile of the coach. Jamel Belmadi is the man. Okay, I guess we'll go on a break, and when we return from that break, we'll take a look at the teams in Group D, the managers involved, and of course we'll take a look at what is currently going on in England. That's the FA Cup. We'll do all of that when we return from this break. All right, welcome back. We've been, of course, talking about the Nations Cup, 9 days away. And of course, tonight on the show, we've looked at a whole lot of things. Now is to look at Group D and the teams in focus. We're focusing on the managers, looking at their CV. And of course, we're going to start with the man I talked about before we went on that break, Jamel Belmadi, the man who's leading the Algerians to the Nations Cup. And of course, he was appointed 2018, 62 matches under his belt. He has won 41, a very good percentage. He's drawn 15, and he has lost 6. And of course, you already know that he has the Nations Cup in his kitty, and that counts for a lot. All right. So, I mean, you also look at Pedro Goncalves, the guy who was in charge of Angola, appointed in 2019. 29 matches under his belt, he's won 7, he's drawn 13, and he has lost 9. So we look at these two managers side by side, Algeria and Angola, the two managers we've talked about. Then we'll talk about the other two. But let me go to Austin quickly. I want to get your thoughts. I don't know if you agree with me. I thought going into the last tournament, a lot of people expected a lot from Algeria. Something happened. I can't explain it. But you still have to say there's a lot of stability in this Algerian team, and nobody should look away from them just yet.
That's very important. I mean, see the level of consistency and look at the impact of Coach Jamel on that Algerian team. In my last analysis, I was talking about football where anything can happen. I came down from 2013, where we didn't expect anything from, God bless his soul, the late Stephen Keshi and his team, to 2021, where we thought, oh, despite everything that happened with Coach Gernot Rohr and then Coach Austin Eguavoen came in, you know, we thought, okay, we were always in a group phase, we can do one or two things. The Desert Warriors, they are a team to respect in Africa. You underrate Algeria at your own peril, particularly where you've got a coach that is very tactical, particularly where you get players playing in their local league, majority of them, and they've got stability with their clubs and they are bonding every week. You want to respect such a team. And this is a man who, aside doing well on the job, he's got a good understanding with his players, ex-player himself, and the FA, very, very important. You know, I keep telling people that for you to be a coach of an African team, it goes beyond your expertise. You must understand the game management, the politics. You must understand how to manage those people who are in the FA. And I think Coach Jamel has got that also. I respect Algeria a lot, and no disrespect to the other teams in Group D at the AFCON. Easily, I see Algeria coming out of that group. Yes, whatever wants to happen should happen, then I'll come here and call it upsets. But Algeria, with all they've done right from when Coach Jamel took the job, and the stability, the consistency that we've seen from Algeria, and with what their league seems to be showing, which is what we keep saying, that most times a country's football is as good as its league football. So you cannot take Algeria out of that conversation when you talk about countries that are building football from the bottom to the top. And you can see that it's also rubbing off on the national team football. So yeah, in a group where you've got Algeria, Angola, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania, no disrespect, but you expect Algeria to reign supreme in that sort of team. And you know the Algerians here, I mean, we can't forget them so soon, you know. When we thought we were going to go all the way to win the AFCON years ago, they stopped us right in our tracks like, in a very painful way. And it goes to tell you that you cannot underrate Algeria, particularly when they're on a mission. So congratulations to Algeria for all they've done for their football, for Coach Jamel. That's a beautiful record when you look at the coach's record, particularly at national team football level. So you want to say Algeria can come into this competition, and if you tag them as favorites, you're not bluffing.
Yeah, you're not bluffing. Austin has laid down the marker. It appears like it's going to be, most pundits will say Algeria and whoever it's the next team. But your thoughts on the other teams? He's talked about Algeria. You know, we highlighted Angola. We talk about Goncalves. Let's talk about Angola, for instance.
Well, I think it's a very easy pick to think Algeria would definitely have a very smooth ride on this one. Of course, you saw their performance at Egypt. That was in I think that should be 2021 or thereabout, or 2019 or so, yeah, where they knocked out the Super Eagles of Nigeria en route, winning it, defeating Senegal in the finals. But over time, you look at the win ratio of the manager, but I think it's going to be a very close group. Angola also, they're not pushovers, they're not minnows in African football. They have a manager, Pedro Goncalves. 7 wins, maybe not the best of winning margin in 29 games, but you know, when it comes to the AFCON, it becomes a different ball game. A lot of people won't even know where it's going to swing to. And Burkina Faso also, they've got a very experienced manager, Herbert Velud. He's been around for a while as well, understand the terrain of African football. It could be tempting to think Angola should join Algeria, but there's also Burkina Faso. And hey, you can't push Mauritania over. The last 2 AFCONs, they've actually, tried the best to make sure. I mean, qualification had always been a problem for them, but getting into this one right now, I don't know. I feel the second slot could be between Angola and Burkina Faso. But remember they're going to be third place, best losers in this Nations Cup, and
the group
it
might
could
also,
go either way. It could produce a best loser here.
All right, let's highlight the other teams in this group. The Stallions of Burkina Faso, the next team we want to quickly talk about, and of course, when we talk about Herbert Velud, experienced tactician, got appointed in 2022. Of course, 13 matches, he's won 7, he's drawn 4, he's lost 2. That's the man in charge of Burkina Faso. All right, let's talk about Mauritania quickly so that we can just flip both together. We look at Mauritania as well. Okay, this is Mauritania. You have a man, Amir Abdou, the man in charge of Mauritania. 2002 is when he got a job. Matches played 17. He's won 9, drawn 4, and has lost 4. Not a bad start. You said that it's difficult. But of course, when it comes to the AFCON, the Stallions of Burkina Faso have to earn your respect, especially when you place them in a group that has Mauritania and Angola. Stats don't play football, but if you go by the stats, you would want to say after Algeria, the Stallions.
Yeah, and then of course, you look at the experience that the managers are coming with. I mean, Abdou is obviously one of the youngest managers coming into this AFCON, just 17 matches. He joined on board less than 2 years ago. And, there could be a huge baptism of African football for him. I think the first games of every member of this group is very important. You want to start a big tournament like this with a winning note, with the 3 points. It gives you that competitive edge. That's why I like the fact that Super Eagles will not be playing Ivory Coast in our first game, because it's the host nation. It could be very dicey. The pressure of the opening match could be overwhelming. So I think for this one, my mind is telling me Angola could nip it, but both games will decide. And the truth is this: I don't think Mauritania would also be the whipping boys in this team. They could be the banana peel, they could be the dark horse. We saw Madagascar in 2019 also, coached by Amunike. They actually defeated the Super Eagles of Nigeria, by the way. So I feel Mauritania could be the dark horse in this Nations Cup. They got a league that is also picking up. They got a couple of players. In short, a larger percentage of their players play either in South African League or their own league. So they're coming into the Nations Cup with it. We don't have anything to lose. We are not going to enjoy the spotlights. We are not under pressure. We are more like the underdogs coming into this one. And it makes the job a little easy for you, Yemi.
All right, it does. All right, let me go to Austin. You've said if Algeria doesn't lick it, you'll come back to apologize. But who goes with Algeria?
Yeah, I've looked at Angola, I've looked at Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, pretty decent team. I spoke to the coach at the last AFCON, just right after they lost to Cameroon in the 3rd place match, and he said, look, that they will go back, build some more, and come back. If you check, they've always been in that conversation in the last 6 years in Africa. You cannot just mess around with Burkina Faso. So while I respect Angola as a fantastic underdog that can stun any team, you want to also respect Burkina Faso that because of their consistency and understanding of African football, that they can do just enough to get it out of that group. So if anything happens between Burkina Faso, Mauritania, and Angola, don't expect me to come and apologize and say football happened. But with Algeria, I'll go on my knees and say, sorry, football taught me a lesson. Because, I always say when you act like you know football, you get stunned. So yes, with confidence, I can say from that group D, Algeria and Burkina Faso will advance.
Okay, we leave it at that. That's been our look at Group D, the managers, the teams involved in all of that, and we've talked extensively about all of that. Wishing all the teams all of the best. All right, also, let me yield the floor to you. We're going to leave football for a little bit. We want to talk table tennis, and of course, the star man, the man that always gets everyone talking in Nigeria, Aruna Quadri, in the news again.
Yeah, Aruna Quadri, what a story at the World Table Tennis Men's Final. He was bidding to make a record as the first African, to make it to the semis, And that would have been a fantastic record for Aruna Quadri because he had a fantastic run to reach the quarterfinals. But when you go against the world #1, Fans and Dog, it means you have to be the best of the best to beat him. Now, in their 4 meetings, Zendog has beaten Aruna Quadri flawlessly, dropping just a game against Aruna Quadri. And I watched highlights of this game. Aruna Quadri matched him power for power, tried everything he could, but there's just this technique from these guys that we need to study. So losing 3-0 in table tennis isn't a good result, but it doesn't judge the sort of performance that this Nigerian table tennis legend put up right there at the Doha Championship. So congratulations to China's Fans and Dog, but congratulations once again to Aruna Quadri for reaching the semifinals, the best of the best men's table tennis happening in Doha. And this is the second time that Aruna Quadri will be playing in the quarterfinal of the tournament as he matched his performance at the WTT Cup finals in 2021. So that's some good consistency. When you're always in the narrative telling people that, look, I'm still here, playing my best table tennis, and then someday, somehow, you make it happen. But what really got us talking was in the round of 16, when Aruna Quadri fought back from 2 games down in his opening match, and then that was against Hugo Calderano of Brazil, and then he went on to win. Got everybody talking. These guys are ranked better than the Nigerian table tennis player, but each time he meets these guys, he goes out there, gives his best. We always say one thing when we talk about Aruna Quadri. Just imagine if he gets the sort of support that he needs, from Nigeria. Imagine where he would have taken his table tennis to. This is him playing against the #1 table tennis player in the world. And he matched him, But the guy is just simply better. So congratulations, as I said. No regrets here as a Nigerian that Aruna Quadri can go out there, flex muscles with the best table tennis players in the world and still make it to the last 8. It's commendable.
All right. I think we should listen to Aruna Quadri. Of course, we'll come back to talk some more on the exploits of the Nigerian.
Happy and satisfied with my performance. Unfortunately today it was really not meant to be, but I tried so hard. Probably if I had won a set, probably things might change a little bit, but of course we will meet again. I am always positive against him, so I think it is very possible, probably once in a lifetime, and I'm looking forward to it. I will try again next time. I think I came totally prepared today. In the first set, my forehand was totally not working, and I lost so many points. And this was really not so normal. Probably next time, if the ball goes to the table, I could maybe win a set and see how it would go.
I mean, there's nothing to say about Aruna Quadri. I'm lost for words. I said everything. Maybe Yokoyemi has a few words. You told me how long are we going to have this man? He has done everything. He has done everything. But are we producing the next man? But we have him still, so let's talk about him.
Yeah, African legend, not just the Nigerian legend.
Future Hall of Famer.
I find it disrespectful when they mention Nigerian tennis and you want to keep Aruna Quadri in that space. In fact, even at the African stage, yes, we've got Egyptians, Tunisians also topping the chart and all of that. But if you look at Aruna Quadri's consistency at the big level, at the international stage, the Olympics, the All-African Games, then you understand the fact that he has nothing to prove to anybody. And when I mean nothing to prove to anybody, I mean if he ends it today, if he calls, an end to his career today, he's had a very glorious and illustrious career. Beautiful moment, the All-African Games, the Olympics, getting Nigeria at that big stage. I saw, his first game where he had to come from 2 sets down to win that game. And I felt like he could build on that momentum. But hey, when you play against the world #1, not like you feel inferior to them, but it's sports. You just have to admit that, hey, this person is probably technically better than myself. He's quick with his feet. He's smart with his decisions. A lot of forced errors actually in Aruna Quadri's game. We saw a lot of balls going out of play and all of that. But like I said, if he says it's done today, he's probably one of the greatest tennis players to ever come out of Africa.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I think the conversation about whether or not we're doing enough to have more people like Aruna on the center stage, it's something we're going to have for a long time to come. But let's enjoy the moment. Aruna Quadri making us proud across the globe. All right. Again, I want to yield the floor to Austin. I'm very sure you're on the show. You're also monitoring what is going on in the FA Cup. I saw you looking down at some point. I'm sure that's what you're trying to do. But your man, Sean Dyche, also talking about scrapping the break. Look, let's make the matches. Let's spread it. Let it be even. He's complaining about it favoring the big clubs.
Yeah, and that's his real message. He said, look, why are we having a break and then the calendar is still choked up? Why can't we just spread it? We do not have the money and the squad depth as Manchester City, Manchester United, and all of the wealthy clubs. So it's not fair. That's what Son Dyche is saying. He's saying that, look, scrap the break and stage fewer games in December. For instance, Everton have played 8 games in 29 days in December, but have 3 matches in 27 days in January. And he's saying, why? Why is that? Why are you doing that? When you know that we do not have what it takes to, fund this busy calendar. But it is what it is. I mean, whatever Sean Dyche talks about, and the struggle with Everton at the moment, we still have small teams, big teams in the busy December calendar. That's what football, does. But does he have a point? Yes, he does have a point. Will the FA listen? I don't think so, because this calendar has been there for a long time. So let's listen to Sean Dyche. Interestingly, his team is playing in the FA Cup 3rd round against Crystal Palace. We'll come back, we'll give updates as regards that match.
There has to be finance involved. The club has to be in a situation to do the deals. We had to work very hard. Kev certainly had to work hard to construct deals that could be worked into the way the club were in the summer. We managed to do that, as we said, managed to rebalance the squad the best we could. We had to lose some players as well. The situation is similar but different. You never know the twists and turns of football, how deals present themselves, but at this moment in time, it's very likely to be quiet. And that when they do the fixture scheduling, the only thing I would say is there's lots of teams in lots of competitions. And when you add in, the European runs and teams in that sort of side of things, there must be a reason why they try and piece these games together. You've always got this strange, I did reference it after the last game, this strange situation where, on the one hand, everyone's saying, why don't you add all the minutes on? So therefore, Saturday was a good example. It was 9 minutes the 4th time. It should have been 10. Why tell me that? I don't know. Anyway, so I was like, well, on the one hand, you're saying players too many games. On the other hand, you're saying add more time to the games. There's more competitions, and then they put more games in around December. So I can't really decipher which camp is everyone in. Some are in the health and safety and well-being camp. Some are in there, they should play more football. You get on with it. I'm in the get on with it camp. That's the way it goes. This is what you paid to do. This is the job. But it is challenging. There's no two ways about it.
But it is some valid conversations right there by Sean Dyche and the busy calendar in December. And that's why, if you check it, for any team to go on to win the league title, you must do well in December, because that's a very tasking month in the EPL calendar. Let's take a quick look at what's going on right there. 3rd round of the FA Cup at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace taking on Everton. 42 minutes played, and it's still goalless. But both teams, even so far, trying to find that goal. This is a cup competition. It's not the same as when you play the league. But then let's see. It looks like Everton wants it, but Crystal Palace doing just enough to ensure that they don't lose this one at home. It's the FA Cup where anything can happen, Yemi.
Yes, the FA Cup where anything can happen. But our parting shot on the show is going to be tennis. Okwemi, Rafael Nadal is back. The question is Rafael Nadal a contender in Melbourne? We're still talking about him playing in Brisbane. He's won 2 matches, and he's won convincingly. I've not seen him in a tough test. But then people like Novak Djokovic and say, look, I'm not deceived. If Nadal is playing, Nadal is a contender. That's what Djokovic is saying.
Absolutely. I'm so happy he's back. He's been out for over a year now, and the Brisbane International is more like a curtain raiser for the first Grand Slam of the year, which is the Australian Open. And I mean, you can't take anything away from Rafael Nadal, but you look at the consistency of, you know, the trial of Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic, how they've dominated world tennis for like 15 years, and Murray came through at some point. You know, you couldn't just meet up with the pace, and then you ask yourself, how long are we going to have these guys playing effortlessly? Look at Novak Djokovic. All of these guys are into their 30s. But for Nadal, I'm glad he's back. It brings a lot of energy, additional excitement to the Australian Open, the first for the year. And he came back like he never left. But he's been a little injured. I remember there was an interview that was asked after his first win if he's still going to play beyond 2024. And he said, well, once his body keeps going, I mean, just like Cristiano Ronaldo, and they're actually good friends. So he said if his body is going, he's not setting long-term plan, he's just getting into it. But I hope that he goes really well at the Brisbane International, so that I can get some momentum going. So by the time we're getting into the Australian Open, which is my biggest Grand Slam after the US Open, I think, you know, it could go either way.
You have danced away from my question. Is he a contender as we go?
For where it's coming from, yes. Depending on what he does at the Brisbane, he needs this competitive game to prepare for the Australian Open, Yemi.
I don't think he is, but I don't know if Austin agrees. As we prepare to go, do you see him as a contender? He's not been tested, but we're happy he's back.
You know what, Yemi? Rafael Nadal has described what is happening in his life. He said every day is an adventure. And as long as he sees it that way, then I think he is a contender. This is Rafael Nadal. This is his first semi-final, quarter-final since Wimbledon in 2022. So he's coming back one step at a time. 6-1, 6-2 win is a dominant win in tennis. And someone will say, who did he beat? Australia's Jacob Koepler. But that's also a professional tennis player. And this is a 37-year-old Rafael Nadal. When he grabs a tennis bat and is bouncing that ball, and his power comes into full force, and is turbocharged, and is giving you those backhands and forearms, and he's not looking back, then Rafael Nadal can actually go all the way. I want to wish him all the best. It's good to have the legends, the big boys in the conversation. It makes sports analysis really good. But that's it. That's how far we can go on the show tonight in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, from here in Lagos, it's a wrap. But first, I want to thank Okwemi Akiode for his time on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Yemi. Certainly.
All right, that's the show. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. Still one more edition before the week runs out, and we'll be here to take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.